Yes, well, the danger, of course, for the freedom movement is if they turn on the independent journalists and publications who gained a little bit of sway during COVID, ultimately the only people who will win is mainstream media because they will survive this rebellion. But your article was focused on the kids and the impact of Islam and how that they are standing with these protesters, whether they understand them or not, it's a different matter. Now, these are children who claim to hate religion. They're fundamentally left-wing children who think socialism is not a bad idea. Almost none of them hold a religious principle. But yet they're taking up arms in what is effectively a religious conflict, because Hamas versus Israel and Judaism versus Islam, it is religious in its fundamental concepts, and yet we've got all these atheistic children walking with them. This is a very confusing time, and casual observers are having trouble unpacking what's happening. I mean, where do you see this going with these kids? Will they lose interest and go to the next climate thing, or is this going to be an ongoing problem as they grow up?
Well, I think in a strange sort of way, all of these things are sort of swirling together. I mean, we saw Greta Thunberg, you know, saying no climate justice on occupied territory. So she's wading into the sort of the Middle East, my goodness. But yeah, these kids seem to have no idea that, you know, the group they are supporting has no respect for their pronouns and, you know, has a practice of throwing gay and lesbian and gender, you know, self-defining people off the tops of buildings when they're not hanging them. I mean, the level of ignorance is just stunning. So, look, people say and do a lot of things when they're young, so I think there's a natural kind of course correction. But I don't think there's room for complacency here, and I do think actually I'm not in favour on the whole of censorship. I am in favour of showing up bad ideas by putting out better ideas. And I think it's really important now for people to go onto spaces like TikTok, so long as they remain legal, because of course there's a fear about TikTok that it's really about, you know, surveillance and spying on people. But so long as it remains social media presence, I encourage young people who are better informed to go in there and to put the case for Western civilization, for tolerance, and for all the things that actually these young people do believe in. They just don't realise that they've wrongly identified groups like Hamas as somehow, you know, being champions of freedom. They're not.